Hello, shalom, greetings, welcome to my channel. This is Wanda, this is Diaspora Connect. Thank you for tuning in. I want to do a video for you today. Just been looking at different videos, and I've been noticing that the continental Africans on the continent are waking up to the truth about how the other nations of the Western nations try to demean them, disrespect them, dehumanize them. They are waking up. There are several videos out that's showing the results of the continental Africans waking up to the truth about the Western countries being derogatory, thinking derogatory about them. For example, the president of the Congo had to let Macron, the president of France, know not and understand that he is not to disrespect Africans. Also in Tunisia, you see Tunisia, and if people don't know, and if you don't know, diaspora, Tunisia is in Africa. It's northern Africa, along with Algeria and Morocco, some other countries. But the president announced that he wanted to have the Africans, sub-Saharan Africans, removed from Tunisia because he's afraid that they're going to try to take over. Well, Africa is for the Africans. The original people that were in northern Africa were all Africans, but the Islamic Islamic people came and colonized that area, and then they taught that Islamic practice, Muslims, Islamic practice. So they are a majority in northern Africa, and the minorities actually Africans, but it is Africa and it is their land. But the Tunisian president was wanting the migrants to leave, and they're not really migrants because it's their country, but he's calling for them to leave because he's afraid that they may try to take over. So these are some examples of what the African Americans were trying to relay to the continental Africans, that we have lived among these other nations and we know how they feel about us and how they treat us when we are in the minority. Being born and raised in America, we know firsthand how these other nations feel about us and how they try to treat us, and that's all of them. It's not only Mzungus, it's Arabs, it's Chinamen, it's Mexicans, Spanish, all the different nations. How they really feel about Africans, they don't care for us. Even if they live with us, even if they work with us or we work with them, they don't care for us. So we are trying to get that message across to continental Africans to wake up, wake up, wake up. Because if you don't want what has happened in the past to happen again, we need to be proactive in understanding that we have other resources. When I say we, I mean Africans in Africa. Sub-Saharan Africa specifically, but all throughout the continent there are minerals and gems and coltan and everything that the world needs, that the Western world needs. It is in Africa, and there are many countries trying to colonize still again the continent of Africa. You see how things are going in northern Africa. Africa is a black African continent. So if you have Arabs and Indians in any other nation, Mzungu in South Africa, those people are not indigenous to Africa. Africans are. So they have a lot of nerve to come here, and because they're the majority, try to drive out the native or the original people, which is actually what they did in America. So that's true. But majority of us in America were stolen from Africa and taken over on the transatlantic slave trade. So, and this was over 400 years ago. Thus you have Africans dispersed off the four corners of the earth. That's why we are everywhere. And yes, African mean African American, African British, African, Latino, African, we are everywhere. Afro Latino, we're everywhere. Yes, there are Africans everywhere. We may not be in the majority, and in those countries where we're the minority, we are mistreated 9 times out of 10. So if you are a local Tanzanian and you have never experienced this, you've never lived in the West, and so please don't try to tell me what I know. I have lived around Mzungu than them. I know majority of them are hateful. Not all of them, but majority of them are hateful, and majority of them do not like Africans. Majority. And it does not matter if they are in France or Germany or Russia or Yugoslavia or Ukraine. It does not matter. They do not like Africans. You have to know this. Look how they treated the Africans in Ukraine when the war started. They didn't let the Africans try to get out when the war started. They couldn't take the trains or the buses. They was telling them to walk. So these are some examples of when I say, as an African American, we have had experience. It's important for us to come back to Mama Africa, to occupy, to make sure that that colonization does not happen again. Because believe me, they are plotting and planning in their mind to try to take over. And the Chinamen are too. So please, as Africans, take advice. At least listen to what we have to say as the diaspora living amongst these other nations. We already know their intentions towards you, and it's not pure. There are a small number that are nice people, good people, not wicked like that, but within their heart of hearts, they all think they are superior to us. It does not matter if you marry them. It does not matter if they're in your family. It doesn't matter if you work with them and if you're friends with them. They, in a small way, think that they are superior to you as an African. They all do. It's how they've been raised. It's in their genes. It's who they are. So take it from African American perspective. We know exactly how they think because we've lived around Mzungus. I've lived around them all my life. I know how they think. I know how they operate. And majority do not have love for Africans. And I'm telling you that, and it's the truth. You'll see. But please do your research on the transatlantic slave trade so you can understand exactly what African Americans had to go through with the chattel slavery in America. It was horrifying, hideous, it was just unhuman, the things that they did to us. And we know that possibly their spirit is not right, because if they can do the things that they did to us and that they're still doing to us, they're burning and lynching and still hanging us from trees till this day. They keep saying we did it to ourselves, but we know we don't commit suicide. That's not our MO. We don't hang ourselves, especially from a tree. That's a history that the Mzungus have done to us in America. We don't do that to ourselves. That's part of the Jim Crow laws. Research the Jim Crow laws. It's just like the apartheid laws. So be careful when you have them coming over to your country in droves. Be mindful. Yes, they create jobs and businesses and blah, 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 but it's not for you. It's not money for you. It's to take back to their country. They want to take the money and the resources back to their country. If they could come and take over the whole of Africa, they would, but it's just too many Africans that are occupying. And that's what we need to do as diaspora. We need to come to the continent. There are 54 countries we need to repatriate, come back, find a country that fits your style, your language, your culture, or whatever you are looking for, your spiritual practice, and you occupy. You come, you do business, you create businesses, you buy land, you create jobs, you help your brothers and sisters on the continent, you partner with them to keep that bond strong between diaspora and the continental Africans, because they're not accustomed to the level of deceit and darkness that the Mzungus have shown us. So we can explain it to them, and we can get them to see the truth about these people, because they come as wolf in sheep's clothing, being all nice and sweet. They come as missionaries. They want to evangelize, but they give you the Bible and you give them your resources. That's how it has been in the past, and that is how it is now. So and when they give you the Bible, they want to give you the slave Bible. They don't give you the real Bible, and they don't talk about the Old Testament a whole lot. They don't talk about the laws. They don't talk about the true people in the biblical scriptures, who are the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites in the biblical scriptures, that the Most High only dealt with. The uncreated creator, the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob only dealt with the Israelites. They were his chosen nation of people. So he does discriminate. He does have a special people and one nation. He said in his word that the other nations are but spittle to him, because the apple of his eye are the children of Israel, are the Israelites. And there are 12 tribes. There are 12 gates in heaven. And the 12 tribes still exist to this day. They are alive. They have not been done away with. And guess what? The 12 tribes of Israel are Negroes. They are black people. There's no other nation No other nation but the Negroes, specifically those who were dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade, and also the majority of the 12 tribes is still in Africa. The 12 tribes are African. If you didn't know it, I'm telling you now. Yeah. So this is something that you must do research on. Continental Africans who watch my channel. Continental, and if you're not continental continental Africans, but if you are the diaspora dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade or dispersed throughout the world, whether you're indigenous or not, you need to research the transatlantic slave trade. You need to know and connect it to the biblical scriptures. If you follow the biblical scriptures, if you follow the Most High, the Almighty, the uncreated Creator, if you believe in Him, you got to know who His people are, because prophecy is being fulfilled through who His real people are, not the fake state in fake Israel in the Middle East, which is Northeast Africa. They created that state. Man created that state, and man even called it North Africa, because the Most High, Ahaya, calls it Northeast Africa, not the Middle East. Okay, so please do your research. Please do your research. It's not about hate. It's not about loving everybody. It's about the truth. Now, if you want to tell someone to love everybody, tell the other nations to love everybody. Tell the president of Tunisia to love everybody. Tell the Moroccans to love everybody, the way they killed all those Africans. Tell the French to love everybody. Tell the white Americans, the Mzungus, to love everybody. Stop telling Africans. Stop telling African Americans. Stop telling African British when they go through hell with these people. Stop telling us to love everybody. You need to tell them to love everybody, because they're the ones that hate. They're the ones that rob. They're the ones that rape. They're the ones that come and pillage and take over other people's lands and put their landmark, which is their flag, in your country. The African Americans are not putting a flag in your country when they come to Africa. But guess what? The other nations do, like the Turks. Whatever restaurant they open here in Tanzania, they're gonna have the crescent moon and the star on in their properties that they open. They don't own the continent for them to put their flag in your country. We don't do that. So please examine these things. And I understand they bring resources, they bring jobs, but you still have to be aware that you have what they want, and it's your resources. Your people, first of all, they stole people, which was us 400 years ago during the transatlantic slave trade. People, they want resources. They want everything you have. They want it because you are rich, Africans. You are rich. You have land. You have minerals. You have coltan. You have oil. You have gases. You have everything that the world needs to live. So everybody's going to be flooding here because they want your resources, okay? So please remember that. And that's why many of us are coming, because we're going to occupy with you. We, as African Americans, African Latinos, and from Jamaica and from Haiti and everywhere we come from as Africans, we're going to help occupy. And they will not be able to colonize Africa again. That will never happen again, as long as we are concerned, as far as we are concerned, because we will come here and we will stand with you, and we will make sure, even as foreigners, that they do not try to colonize you once again. Okay? So please take heed to my words. It's not a hate speech. It's not, that I'm, disgruntled or well, I might be. I do have PTSD, y'all, from the treatment that they've done to us from birth. Like, I do have PTSD, and I am partial. I prefer to work with only my people, Africans. That's it. African Americans, African Latinos, Jamaicans, Haitians, my people, the ones that look like me. When I go to your country, if I can blend in, that's the country I want to be in. Okay? Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to do this video because it was on my heart. Please, Continental Africans, consider what I'm saying. Do research, study. Research, study. Go on Google, go on YouTube, do some research about the transatlantic slave trade, about apartheid, about the treatment of African Americans, what happened to us, how we were displaced and taken to America and made slaves. Okay, this is why we feel the way we do about the other nations, because actually here in Tanzania we were taken into slaves first by the Arabs during the prison island and Bagamoyo slave trade. That was us and our ancestors. So we were taken into slavery first by them, and then the Mzungus came next during the transatlantic slave trade. So Do your research, connect it back to the biblical scriptures, because all throughout the biblical scriptures you will see that the Israelites went into slavery after slavery after slavery after slavery due to our disobedience. This was our ancestors due to our disobedience, and we are still being disobedient in that we worship idols. We mix with all these other nations. We're actually not supposed to be mixing with other nations. We're supposed to just only marry people of our own nations. Of the 12 tribes, if I'm from the tribe of Judah, which I am, I'm supposed to marry only a Judanite. And the Levites, Levites. So really, even the Most High wanted us to specifically just stay married within our own tribes. So he is not a Yah or a God of mixing. He does not like mixing stuff. He doesn't mix animals. He doesn't crossbreed animals. Everybody has their kind. Thus, you had Noah, who he told to gather every animal of its kind. Everything stays together of its kind. Lions stay together. Rhinoceros stay together. He does not cross-mix different breeds. And the same is with his ultimate creation, man and woman. We are to stay within our own nation. We are to marry people of our father's tribe. Whether you're son or daughter, you marry the nations of your father's tribe. Okay, so, and it's the same nation, not all mixed up with all these different types of people. Okay, now don't come for me. It's what the scriptures say. It's how the Most High is. The Most High, Almighty, Uncreated Creator. He does not even mix fabrics. He did not like the Israelites to mix silk and satin and cotton and rayon and all this. No, he doesn't even like to mix fabrics. He does not like to crossbreed animals, and he definitely does not like to crossbreed his own creation. We are to stick within our own nation, not mixing with other nations. Other nations or other nationalities. You know, yeah. So if you didn't know, do your research. Read the biblical scriptures. If you follow the Most High, Uncreated Creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one and the only Alpha and Omega, the great I am, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya in Hebrew is the great I am. So, and his son, yes, Haya, Yeshua, the Christ. That's his son, his Hebrew name, not Jesus. His name is Yeshua, Yesiah. Okay? So yeah, I just wanted to do this video. Thank you for tuning in. I will do another video in the next couple of days. I just want you to lay eyes on me, and I want to speak to you about what was on my heart based upon what is going on around the world, the videos I'm seeing. I see continental Africans waking up. Yay! I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you guys that you are waking up to the truth about all these other nations wanting to colonize your country, wanting to take your resources. But we are coming to work with you. We're coming to build. We're coming to stand with you. And the Most High, Ahaya, Yahweh, is Most High, the Almighty. He's leading and guiding us. He's waking us up to come back home to our mama land, to stand with our brothers and sisters against any nation that wants to colonize Africa, take over Africa, and control its resources. So stand strong, brothers and sisters. I'm going to do another video soon. I am in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. It is wonderful here. It's very hot, but hey, I'm not complaining. So thank you for tuning in. I'll do another video soon. And I want to say salama, peace, and shalom. And I'll see you in the next video, family. One love.